Hello Leo, and welcome to your astrological insight video for the lunar cycle beginning today with the Gemini new moon on the 13th of June and heading up towards the new moon solar eclipse in Cancer on the 13th of July. So this is a really busy, fire-filled lunation with Mars at his brightest and strongest at the moment, coming in square to Uranus on and off all through the summer. And this is a potent time of transformation, of awakening. You might be beginning to feel your kind of inner fire and Shakti serpent energy rising at this time, and that's going to be a continuing theme that will be moving with us all throughout the summer, and particularly for you as a fiery sign. So we're going to start the month with this beautiful new moon in Gemini, the sign of connection, the sign of communication. And that will be, the moon will be rebirthing herself in your 11th house of groups, of friendships, of dreams, wishes, hopes, desires for the future, individual purpose. So this can really be a beautiful cosmic opportunity for you, Leo, to set, to speak, to sing your intentions, to call forth to you those connections which you need to move you forward on your soul's pathway at this time. This can be a moment of reconnection with your soul tribe, or calling forth a soul tribe that is in alignment with your dreams and visions. So this is a really beautiful time for you, Leo, to be connecting with people that ignite the fire in your heart, as Venus also moves into your sign around the time of the new moon. So when we experience the month of the year where Venus is transiting through our sign, it can make us much more magnetic, much more open and receptive to love, to opportunities, to abundance. And it's a really, really beautiful time for just being open to receive the blessings of the cosmos, of the love goddess. We might feel more attractive, we might feel more desirable at this time as well. So it's a beautiful energy that comes through with this new moon for you. Venus is going to be moving in square with Uranus at the time of the new moon, and Uranus is currently newly installed in your 10th house of career, of ambition, reputation, life's purpose. So this can be a time of you using the Gemini energy, the mental Gemini energy, to reprogram, to recalibrate your belief systems and values around work. So this can be a time for you to really dive deep and see if the work that you are doing in the world currently is aligned with your true value system. If you are already engaged in some kind of work, this can also be a time of change where you suddenly realize that what you're doing or what you're offering isn't true to who you are anymore, and changes need to be made. Uranus is moving across this foundational space of your birth chart this year, creating upheaval, creating instability as he forces you to align your material desires with the longings of your heart. So this can be a potent time of really recognizing what isn't working and what needs to be shifted. And this can also be your personal value system, your feelings about yourself, your own self-worth, how much you love yourself. Perhaps there are some negative thought patterns there, Leo, that need to be let go of at this new moon. We also have Mercury in your 12th house, the ruler of this lunation, and this will give you access to the deep subconscious mind. Mercury is going to be in square to Chiron, so this is a time where you can really uncover any subconscious patterning, you know, those programs that we run that we're not necessarily aware of until something happens that makes us go, oh, I've been carrying that belief system all my life. You know, perhaps it came down through my mother, perhaps it came down through my father, but now is the time to let it go. So this new moon can offer a profound recalibration on many levels for you. On the 17th of June, Neptune is going to station retrograde in your 8th house. So Neptune is the energy that dissolves barriers. There are no boundaries with Neptune. And the 8th house is the house of our sexuality. It's the house of our shared resources, our power. So this can really highlight areas of your life where you're giving your power, you're giving your fire away. Perhaps there are some people that are taking advantage, or you know, consciously or unconsciously draining you in these areas, Leo. So this can really bring a heightened sense of sensitivity, which can make you deeply aware of where your energy is leaking. On the 19th of June, Venus in your sign, as I mentioned earlier, is going to oppose Mars in your 7th house. And these two planets are going to be conjunct the nodes. So this is a time where you get a foreshadowing of the essence of Mars retrograde and the lessons that you will be learning over the summer. And for you, Leo, these lessons are all going to revolve around your relationships, your need for independence versus your need to be in a partnership. On the 21st of June, at the summer solstice, here in the northern hemisphere, the winter solstice for those of you in the southern hemisphere, the sun will transition into the sign of Cancer, the Great Mother. And for you, Leo, this is the month before the soul star moves into your sign. It's the month before your birthday, and at this point of the year the sun begins to transit your 12th house. This is the house of deep soul cleansing, and we have Mercury here too, so there's a real sense of you needing to clear away the psychic baggage of the past 12 months in preparation for rebirth, as the sun moves into your sign in July. So you may feel the need to have more alone time, more solitude, to cultivate a deeper connection to your spirituality, your connection to Goddess, your connection to Source, and to just give yourself the space that you need to recharge and recalibrate. Sometimes our energy can become quite low as the sun transits through the 12th house of our birth chart. So honour your needs for alone time during this period, Leo. On the 25th of June, Mars officially stations retrograde, and I mentioned this earlier. Mars will be in your 7th house of relationship. The 7th house is the house where we meet the other person as a mirror to our soul. It's where our shadows and light is reflected back to us by the other. So Mars going retrograde here in conjunction with the South Node in the sign of Aquarius has a huge impact on all of your relationships, not just the romantic ones, but the business partnerships, the friendships, the groups and communities that you are part of. So perhaps at the new moon at the beginning of this month, you realize you're longing for deep connection and a soul tribe or a soul partner. And then through the summer, you are having to work to clear away all of those things that block the manifestation of that dream. There may be a sense of you having to let go of a lot of old ties, a lot of old connections. And there may be a sense of, conflict or differences of opinion that rise in your relationships. or perhaps you simply realize where you have been lacking boundaries, where your relationships have become unequal or imbalanced. But equally, this energy, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, there's a huge essence of fire, of Shakti rising, like a volcanic rage that can come up with Mars being conjunct the South Node. And this is a caution for you, Leo, to be sure that as you are disconnecting from these things that no longer serve, that you are acting in the appropriate conscious ways. There can be an essence of burning too many bridges or throwing the baby out with the bathwater here, Leo. So just be sure that you don't impulsively disconnect from people, from situations, in a fire of fury, wanting to reclaim your freedom. So be very aware and conscious. Take your time making any decisions around your relationships as Mars retrogrades for the next 2 months. And Mars will be squaring that Uranus in your 10th house as well. So we can see a link here between your relationships and your career. So like I said at the beginning, all of the structures, all of the foundations and the core areas of your life are being challenged at the moment, Leo. So be open to change without acting rashly or impulsively. And on the 28th of June, we will be having a Capricorn full moon, and that moon is going to sit in conjunction with Saturn, who is the ruler of the lunation. Sorry, my cat just had to join us there as we're talking about Leo, bringing in the feline energy. So this moon will be in conjunction with Saturn, the ruler of the lunation, and it will be in your 6th house of health, of healing, of purification, of the day-to-day structures and routines that build the foundations of your life. And this is also another area of the birth chart that is very much associated with our daily work and our service work. So Saturn has been transiting here, testing you in all of these areas since the winter solstice, since he moved into Capricorn on the 21st of December last year. And Saturn in the 6th house can be a time of deep detoxification, of purifying ourselves mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually, purifying our vessel so that we can become the best channel for the divine energies. We can clear ourselves out so we can become of better service for the rest of the world, for the people who would seek out our counsel, our guidance, our gifts. So you may have found yourself needing to purge, needing to declutter on all areas of your life over the past 6-month period. Perhaps there have been some health issues crop up that have forced you to change your diet. Perhaps you have realized how hard you are on yourself and you're making changes, detoxifying yourself mentally. Perhaps this is working in tandem with Uranus in your 10th house, forcing you to make change in your work and offerings. If you are a healer or holistic therapist of some kind, your work is dedicated in service in some way. Perhaps you've had to work a bit harder. Perhaps you've had to make some changes to what you're putting out into the world. So this can be a very multi-layered, multi-level transit. Like all Saturn transits, it can unfold and filter through on many different levels. And as the full moon conjunct Saturn in this house of your birth chart on the 26th, on the 28th, we can really start to see how far we have come with the lessons that Saturn has been trying to teach us for the past 6 months. This is a moment of illumination where we see if all of the hard work that we've been putting into these areas of our life is paying off. Saturn is about karma. He's about practical, realistic action. And if we haven't been in alignment with our integrity in this area of our birth chart, perhaps there is some more changes that need to be made. So this is going to be quite an intense lunation, as you can see, and it's going to highlight that 6th, 12th house polarity of your birth chart. So there can be a huge uncovering again of unconscious patterning and self-sabotaging beliefs that may be affecting your ability to be of service, affecting your ability to build your dreams, to create the health that you desire. So on the 9th of July, as we begin to move deeper into these energies, Venus is going to shift from your sign. She's going to shift into Virgo in your 2nd house. So this is a time of the month where this is a time of the year when Venus transits the 2nd house, where we can really become more magnetic to financial prosperity. This is a time where we can again start to work with those energies of self-worth, self-value and self-love. There is an essence here of, you know, things flowing to us more easily in the material world, or us finding more beauty in the material world. The 2nd house rules over our senses, our pleasures. It's the Taurus house. It's indulging in earthly desires. So there can be a sense here of, you know, wanting to indulge in the luxuries of life as Venus transits this space of your birth chart during July. So on the 10th of July, we have another big planetary station. We have Jupiter stationing direct in your 4th house, and Jupiter's been retrograde here since March, and he's been in this space of your birth chart since autumn last year. And Jupiter in Scorpio has been shining a light on the darkness for us all collectively, you know, bringing up all of these hidden things to the surface. And for you, he's been in this 4th house, which is the womb space of the birth chart. It's the house that is connected with the past, with our ancestral lineage, with our connections with our parents, with our feelings of security, stability, how we feel we were or weren't mothered or cared for or provided for growing up, and how we nurture and provide for ourselves in the now. So for you, this has been a cycle of, you know, deep emotional digging, deep soul diving around these areas. And as Jupiter begins to station direct, we can feel an intensity, you know, perhaps more stuff comes to light, more stuff from the past that we need to let go of, more old patterns, more old programs may start to surface. But as he begins to pick up speed as the month moves on, we can see that the energy will start to wind down, and we'll start to see the results of some of the hard psychological work we've been doing in this area. So all of the work we've been doing to clear those past patterns can start to bear fruition, and we can start to see the changes in ourselves and in our lives. On a practical level, this can be very much connected with the physical home, with the roots, the foundations that we lay down. So if you have been in transition with your home, or, you know, you're thinking about moving, then this is a signal that everything can start to move forward again for you. Things can start to flow and become a little bit easier. Normally Jupiter transits bring us great blessings, but because he's in Scorpio, there is a real sense of having to do deep inner work before anything comes easily to us at this time. We're going to close the month with that first eclipse of 3 supermoon eclipses, and this is going to be in the sign of Cancer, and it's going to be in your 12th house. So again, we are looking at these unconscious spaces of your birth chart. This can be an energy of renewal around the subconscious cycles that you hold on to. So this can work in very much in tandem with the Jupiter energy that I've just described, because Cancer is the sign that is on the cusp of the 4th house. So this will really reveal to us the encoded energies, patterns, emotions that we might be carrying from not even just our lineage in this life, but from previous lives. The 12th house is a very multi-dimensional energy. So this eclipse here can really bring to the surface stuff that has been hidden for lifetimes. This is a time of liberating yourself, of remembering the old vows, the old karmic connections that you have brought forward, the old tribal ties, and beginning to release and shed. This is a time of surrender. Often we're not conscious of what is buried in that part of our birth chart, so we can be as surprised as anyone else when things start to rise up. But it is a time of coming into awareness about those unconscious self-sabotaging patterns that have been running you. So it's a very exciting time of awareness, Leo. And like I say, you know, there's so much going on for you at this time that it's important that you really tune into the energies of Cancer, to tune into the energies of the Great Mother, and allow yourself to receive some nurturing and support, and nurture and support yourself in appropriate ways as you go through this time, as you go through this summer, you know, with the eclipses so prominent for you, you know, moving through your sign. And it's a very, very interesting time relationship wise as well. The card I picked for you, I'm working with the Oracle deck, the Isis Oracle deck this month by Alana Fairchild. And the card I picked for you, I don't know whether you can see it there, is Scales of Balance, Ancient Tantra of the Soul. And this could not be more perfect with the polarity that's going on in your chart between the 1st and the 7th houses. You know, this is about learning how to come into union, how to balance the warrior and the lover within, the masculine and feminine. This is a time of learning how to harmonize your relationships. This is a time of learning about equal giving and receiving. And for some of you, you may be the overgivers. For others, you know, you may be the fierce independent ones that need to open up and learn how to receive more love into your life. And this card is also an indication of deep transformational healing around sexual wounds as well. So there can be a real essence of that rising up for you over the summer, you know, clearing the channels, clearing the pathways, the womb space, so that Shakti energy can rise unobstructed. But of course, it has to be channeled in a well balanced way. So that is the key for you, Leo. Stay in the middle, you know, hold the middle ground through all of these changes that are going on and all of this subconscious material that is rising. Allow it to be washed away, you know, surrender to the song of your soul and allow yourself to be moved forward onto your true pathway of highest destiny. Well, thank you for listening to me, Leo. I really hope that this little insight video has served you. If you would like to connect with me further, you can join my Facebook pages and groups. The information is below. I'm sending you so much love for this summer of alchemy.